Hi. Okay, so the end goal for today is to make regular polygons, objects with the sides equal length, to roll like this. And this is the complete node setup. Okay, so we start out with a new scene and we can actually keep this cube. And then we go to geometry nodes and we want to look upon this cube from the side. And let's press new and we have the group input and the group output. Let's start out with adding a set position. Put it here. And I want to start out by rotating the cube around this point here. So, and I want it to rotate during a time. So we're going to need a scene time. Let's put it here. And we also want a vector rotate like that. And we want to take the vector into the position. And the cube is gone, so we need to fix that. So let's press Shift A and add a position again. And let's drag this into the vector. And so we can take the seconds into the angle. And now we want this to rotate 90 degrees each second. So we want to add a math node. So we search for math. Let's add it here. And we want to multiply this by 90 degrees. But right now you can see something is happening, but it rotates around the wrong axle. So we want to change this. So we zero out Z and press 1 in Y instead. Okay, great. So if we look upon it now, it rotates too fast. And the reason for that is that it's translating error between radians and degrees. So we just need to add another math node. So let's take this one, Shift D, and drag it over here and change this to radians. If we check now, it rotates 90 degrees each second. But it's rotate around center. And we want it to rotate here. And to change this, we need to add a combine X, Y, and Z node. And we drag it into the center. And since the cube is 2 by 2, we want the X value to be 1. And this value to be -1 Z, because it's below the 0 point. So -1. So if you look upon it now, it rotates the whole turn, and this is wrong. And the reason for this is that we only want the fractions of the second. We don't want the whole seconds. And to do that, we need to add a math node. So let's put it here. And we want the fractions of the second. And if you look upon it now, it rotates 90 degrees each second. And that's correct. So we can now select all of these and press Ctrl J, F2 to name it and call it rotation. Great. Let's drag it down. Put it here somewhere. And so the next step is to add some movement forward. And to do this, we need a vector math node. So let's search for vector math. Put it here. And we can wait with this one. So we drag this to the position and the cube is gone again. So we just need to add a position again. We can drag this into the vector. And now we want if you take the seconds into here and look upon a cube, it's just sliding in unset direction. So we need to choose the direction and we can turn down the time. And to do this, we need to add a combine X, Y, and Z. Put it here and we want it to move in X. And now it's just sliding in X and we want it to take steps. So I want it to go 2 meters each second. So we need another math node. So let's search for a math node, put it here, and we want to multiply the time by 2 because that's the length of the cube. So it's moving 2 steps each second, but I want it to go like steps and not sliding. So I only want to have the whole second, so we need to round them down. So we need another math node. Let's push it here and let's floor the second. So if you look upon it now, each second it goes 2 steps. So this is correct. So if we now combine this, and we can actually select all of this and press Ctrl J and name it movement X. Great. Let's just try to rearrange this a little bit. And now we can take this vector into this vector and this vector into the position. And we can delete this one, and if you look upon it now, it's rotating and something is wrong. And the reason for that is this is a static value and the other ones are dynamic from the time. So we need to add the X value from this one. So let's add another math node. So let's press Shift D and change this to add. And we can take this multiply value and we want to add 1 each time. So, and we can put it here, and if you look upon it now, it works. But now this only works for this size of the cube, and we want to have it a little more dynamic and work for every cube. And to fix this, we need to add a bounding box for the cube. So let's search for the bounding box. Let's put it here, and we just want the information from the bounding box. We don't want the geometry to go over there. We want the pure geometry to go here and use the values from the bounding box. Okay, so to do this, we need to get X, Y, and Z out, and the best way to do this is to add another vector math, and we can take the max value up here and subtract the min value. And now from this vector we can just add a separate X, Y, and Z. And now we have the X, the Y, and the Z values. So this is exactly what we want. And now we can just drag this X value down here, and then we can take another X value down here and divide it. So we can just take this one, change this to divide by 2, and we can drag this X value down here, and now this down here, and then we can take, and I want to divide the Z value by 2 also, but since this is negative, we need to divide it by -2. So let's just duplicate this one, change this to -2, drag this value into Z, and get the Z from up here into here. No, up to here. And if you look upon it now, great. And now this should work with every cube. But I also want this to work for hexagons and pentagons and stuff like that. And to solve this, we need to take the sides into consideration. So first off, I think we can actually delete all the newly added math nodes. So and we can actually delete this connection also. So now we're back where we were, and it still works because it's adapted for this cube. But I want to get this value of degrees from another node. So let's duplicate this math node, and I want to divide 360 degrees for the whole circle divided by 4, because that's how many sides there are, and that's 90. But I want this, I want to be able to change how many sides there are. So let's take this and drag it up to the group input. And if we go here, we can double click of this value and call this sides. And we can also check the single value. And if we play, we can see that it works. Great. Okay, now when we can decide the side values, we can actually do some math to calculate the x2 over here with the help of tangent. First off, I want to get the degrees, this one, and this one I get from divided 180 degrees by how many sides we have. So we need a math node. So take the sides in here and divide them by, or we divide 180 with the sides. And when we have this value, we can add another math node, and let's add a tangent node, and we can drag this value in here, but we're going to have a translation error, so we need once again 2 radians. Great. And now we have the tangent value, and we want to multiply that by Z2. So first off, we need another math node, and we want to divide Z by 2. And then we want to another math node, and we want to multiply the Z2 value with the tangent result. So we drag it in, change this to multiply and drag this down. And now the value here is actually this x2 value. So this is great. We can select them, press Ctrl J and F2, and we can call this object measurement. Great. Okay, so now we just need to connect the dots. So this x2 is actually this value that we are looking for the add to rotation. So we can just drag it down. But to get the x value, the moment we want to have, we just need to multiply this by 2. So we just need to rearrange this a little bit. We need another multiply node, so let's put it here. And we need to move this up a little bit, I think, so we don't crash or connect the wrong lines. So we take this multiply down to this multiply, and we want to multiply by 2. Great. And we can drag this down to here. Great. I can see now that this is not a divide node, this is still an add, so we need to divide 180 with the sides. Great. And we also want to have half of Z. So we want to take this value, but that's a positive, so we need another divide node. So we can duplicate this one, and we want to divide Z by -2, and we can drag down this Z and take this value into this one. And if we look upon the cube now, it looks great. It works like we want to. And just to double check that this actually works for a hexagon as well, let's just press Shift A and add a circle, and we can just tell it to be 6 sides, and we can rotate it 90 degrees. And what's important is that we want the edge to be flat to the ground, so we need to rotate this 30 degrees like that. And if we now apply the setup to this also, we can see that it's not behaving as we want to. And the reason for this is that we have not applied the rotation and scale. So now if you look upon it, it still doesn't move like we want to, and the reason for this is it's the wrong side. So if you change this to 6 sides, it moves like it should. Okay, so this is great, but I still want a little more control of this. Especially I want to be able to change the speed. And to do this, we need to add another math node. So we just multiply the seconds. So we can drag this value into the group input and double click and name this speed. Great. And we can check the single value. And now we can tell the cube to maybe have the speed of 4 and this one to have the speed of 2. And you can see they can have different speeds, so this is great. And the last thing I want to do is to add some character to the movement of the object. So let's just add an RGB curve. We can put it here. And if you now start a movement and then start to add points to the curve, we can really change how the movement of the object will be. So this is nice. So this is how you do it. Thanks for watching, and if you like stuff like this, please like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.